Last week, we highlighted Peter as the rock foundation because of what he professed about Jesus, that Jesus as the Son of God, the Messiah. And then this week, just a verse after, he became the stumbling block. Why? Because his faith is still immature. He thinks as not as God thinks, but the manner of how man thinks. And this is it. He tried advising Jesus to avoid the cross, the pain, the suffering that the Messiah must do. So that's how fickle-minded was Peter. And it tells about us too. So today, Jesus is saying to us, if you want to be my disciple, and he was teaching also Peter and the other disciples, saying that if you want to follow me, first deny yourself, take up your cross, and then only then you can follow me. That is how he wants us to progress in our discipleship in following Jesus. Because Jesus did not just preach a beautiful words and also deeds, he also showed them the healing and the miracles that he can do. And then finally, the saving that he did for all of us. And so from that progress of discipleship, he wants us all to learn. Why did Jesus said to Peter, Satan, get behind me? It was not Peter he was addressing. It was Satan, whose temptation to Peter is to avoid temptations and suffering, this cross, this mission of Jesus. And that is the call for all of us. Ask ourselves, what kind of Christian are we? Are we following Jesus only when it is convenient and comfortable and easy? But how about when the road is hard, long, and tedious? That is the challenge for a mature Christian. To be better committed persons, to accept the cross. All of us will have a cross in life to bear. No matter Christians, Catholic, or other kind of religion, we will all face difficulties in life. But for us Catholics, the cross is the most prominent symbol for all of us because that's the key that will unlock understanding, love, and holiness that God is asking us to embrace. Jesus is teaching Peter and us today about an important lessons in life. St. Paul said, do not conform into this age, but transform your disposition, your heart and your mind in the reality, in the perspective of God's love and Jesus' sacrifice for us. What is that lesson that Jesus is teaching us today? That what is easy is not always good. Let me elaborate. Because in our time, you can see easily, we look for something or being attracted to something that is easy, convenient, and fast. Who doesn't want that, right? We tend to avoid things that are difficult, stressful, tedious. We don't want hardship. We make actually ways to make things easier, faster, and more convenient. In effect, we even wanted to spare our loved ones from pain and suffering. It seems like if I love you or I have a concern for you, that means I don't want you to experience the pain and suffering as much as I can. But remember, what is easy is not always good. There are necessary difficulties and suffering in our life as we follow Jesus through and through. The Jesus that we follow was led into the Calvary carrying the cross. And so if we're following Jesus, then we will follow Jesus through and through. And that is the important lesson we are being challenged today. It teaches us that important lesson. The temptation that is presented to Peter by Satan is this: to escape and to avoid hardship and difficulty that are necessary in our life. You know this, parents with your children, you cannot always protect your children from being harmed. There are necessary suffering that they have to do, accept. Or else they will be debilitated or become weak. Husbands and wives, remember your vows. For richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, until death. There are so many things that is happening there. Necessary suffering, difficulty, not because we want to suffer, but because it is part of what we bowed to. Even the single persons, the divorced, the widower, and even in your career path, those students who are studying, there are so many things that you have to embrace. And embracing it quicker will make it life easier for you. Reflecting on my life as a priest, I've been ordained for 6 years, and I experienced already a lot. You know, looking back when I was a seminary, I said, do I have what it takes to become a good holy priest? I don't know. But, I said yes again and again. I was sent out to the seminary. But I said, that's the end. I gave my yes, and I was sent out. Good, fine. So I redirected my life. I was already pursuing a girl and really concentrating on becoming a married person. And then just like Prophet Jeremiah, who felt that inner stirring that he cannot but just say, I know my heart is being extended to love not just one woman, but more. More meaning man and woman in this family, right? Sorry. But you know what I mean, okay? Yesterday, I had one of my difficult schedule yesterday. I had the morning mass, and then I have to go to the confessional box, and then I have an appointment, and then I have baptism, 9 children, and then I have mass at 4 o'clock, and then wedding at 6 o'clock, and then I went home 8 o'clock. So that's how it is. So those who would like to become a priest, be aware. But God is always there. I said, how I was able to accomplish all these things, it's not me. It's God who strengthened me. Because God will not give you something that you cannot bear. And the grace of God will always be there to help you, inspire you. You may be tired, but it is rewarding, inspiring at the end. Looking at the family, the children, those couples being wed, wonderful. I said, I have the best job in the world. It's very rewarding. But you, listening to me, you have your own crosses. Sometimes it will be your spouse, sometimes other person. But they are blessing if you would like to see that in the perspective of God's grace and love. The key is the cross. Every time I've been tempted to become angry, anxious, jealous, afraid, betrayed, alone, I look at the cross with Jesus crucified on it, saying, this is the Lord that I am following. Because behind that crucified Christ is the love of God, the salvation. That's why in the second reading, there is life after this life. And this is the reward that we want to have. And there's no shortcut. If you would like that shortcut by avoiding and choosing to make life easier and not facing the necessary suffering and difficulty, then you are not participating in the total sacrifice of Jesus, his experience of love in the cross. So our goal as Christians should accept our own crosses in life. It's not just accepting, it is actually embracing. That's the more deeper understanding of our call. He said in the other gospel, take my yoke for it is easy and light. He didn't said, Jesus did not say, I will take away your yoke. No, take my yoke, because the cross that you are bearing, there's already Christ on the other side bearing with you the cross. Learn from me, for I am meek and humble. That is the embracing. See, in the example of Simon of Cyrene, he was just passing by after he worked on the farm with the two children, and he was asked by the Roman soldier to carry the cross of Christ. And he was forced to do it. And I know he had a change of heart when he saw Jesus in his most gruesome disposition to be able to participate in that act of salvation. And this is what we are being called to, by carrying our own crosses. Ask. Sometimes we are asking for the wrong reason. Ask not for a higher, lighter burden, but a stronger shoulder. Because God will not give you beyond what you can bear. And this is powerful for me. The burden that you carry will in turn carry you through. We are being strengthened. When we carry our crosses, we become wiser, we become stronger. And I would like you to think of this. I will show you a video to conclude my homily so that you will be empowered and also appreciate the cross that you are bearing. Learn from this video.